You've probably heard of it. Maybe you've even had it. Soy milk. It's kind of the OG of plant-based milks, right? It's been a staple for ages. But man, has it been controversial. Is this stuff a superfood, or is it messing with your hormones? Well, today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get right to the science.
Yeah, when you walk down the milk aisle today, it's just flooded with options, right? Oat, almond, cashew. But soy milk isn't some new kid on the block. Nope. This stuff has a super long history. We're talking centuries around the globe and over 100 years right here in the US. And yet, with all that history, you hear so many conflicting things. So what's the real deal? What does the science actually tell us? When you pour yourself a glass, what's happening inside your body? That's exactly what we're going to figure out.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First up, we're going to look inside the carton, see what's really in there. Then we'll cover the proven science-backed benefits. After that, we're tackling the big controversies head on. And finally, we'll wrap it all up so you can make your own call. So first things first, before we get into any of the drama, let's just look at the basics. What are you actually drinking when you have soy milk? Let's check out the nutrition label. Whoa, okay, check this out. This is where it gets super interesting. Let's put unsweetened soy milk right next to whole cow's milk. First, protein. Look at that, it's almost a dead heat, 7 grams versus 8. But then you look at saturated fat, it's not even close, just half a gram in soy milk. And the sugar? Forget about it, barely any compared to dairy. And on top of all that, you get fiber, which, cow's milk has 0 of. So what's the bottom line here? It means that in that crowded field of plant milks, soy milk is a real nutritional heavyweight. It's one of the very few that gives you a complete protein. That's the whole shebang, all 9 essential amino acids your body can't make on its own. Plus, you get those healthier fats, and it's almost always fortified to give you the same calcium and vitamin D as dairy milk. Okay, so we've got a solid nutritional profile, but what does that actually do for you? Let's talk about the real, proven health benefits. All right, I want you to remember this number, 25 grams. It might not seem like much, but it is absolutely crucial. It's the magic number for one of soy's biggest, most researched health claims. And here's why. That's not just some random advice. That is an official health claim authorized by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. I mean, think about that for a second. How often does the FDA give a specific food a stamp of approval like that? They are literally saying that soy protein can help your heart. That's huge, and it's backed by a ton of science. And it doesn't stop there. The science just keeps piling up. One massive review looking at 17 different studies found that just swapping out cow's milk for soy milk makes a real difference. We're talking about bringing down that bad LDL cholesterol, helping to lower blood pressure, and even cooling down inflammation in your body. Okay, so it's good for your heart. But wait, there's more. Remember those unique compounds in soy we mentioned, the isoflavones? Well, get this. A giant review of 52 different trials found they can actually help improve bone density. We're talking about your spine, your hip, the really important spots. And this is a really big deal, especially for protecting bones after menopause. All right, we've seen the good stuff. Great nutrition, proven benefits, but now it's time to face the music. Let's dive right into the controversies, the stuff you've probably heard about, and figure out what's fact and what's just fear. Let's start with the big one. The number one question, the biggest fear about soy, especially for guys. Will it mess with my hormones? Will it have, feminizing effects? Let's look at what the actual human studies say. Okay, so the whole thing comes down to those isoflavones again. See, their chemical structure is kind of similar to human estrogen. That's where they got the name phytoestrogens, which sounds pretty scary. But, and this is the most important part, looking similar does not mean they act the same in your body. It's like a key that looks like another key but doesn't fit the lock. When scientists looked at all the human trials, they found absolutely no evidence, 0, that soy messes with testosterone or causes any of those feared feminizing effects in men. End of story. All right, controversy number 2, the thyroid. You know, that little gland in your neck that basically runs your metabolism? Does soy mess with it? So to really get this, we have to go back in time, way back to the 1960s. The whole worry started with a couple of isolated cases of infants on soy formula who developed a goiter. And later on, some lab studies and animal studies showed that those isoflavones could slow down a thyroid enzyme. But, and this is a huge but, when we look at modern reviews of actual human studies, the conclusion is clear.
For people with normal thyroid function, soy has no negative effects.
Okay, last on our list of controversies, anti-nutrients. I know, that sounds pretty bad, right? But here's the thing. These compounds are in tons of super healthy plant foods. Beans, grains, nuts, you name it. For soy, the one people talk about most is called phytic acid.
So what phytic acid does is it can kind of grab onto minerals like iron and zinc in your digestive system, making it a bit harder for your body to absorb them. But context is so important here. This is really only a potential issue if your diet is already lacking in those minerals. If you're eating a varied, balanced diet, it's pretty much a non-issue. Plus, modern processing methods for making soy milk actually reduce these anti-nutrients quite a bit.
Okay, we've unpacked the nutrition, we've looked at the science-backed benefits, and we've tackled the controversies head-on. Now it's time to bring it all home. What's the final pour on soy milk?
So let's break it down, pros and cons. In the pro column, you've got that high-quality, complete protein. You've got real science showing it's good for your heart and bones. And, of course, it's an amazing option if you can't do dairy. In the con column, well, it's a major allergen, so if you have a soy allergy, it's a definite no-go. And yeah, those anti-nutrients are there, but for most of us, it's a very minor point.
So, who should really consider soy milk? Well, based on all the evidence, it's an excellent choice if you're dairy-free, whether that's from lactose intolerance or an allergy. If you're eating plant-based, it's honestly one of the top-tier choices for getting that protein. And this is a big one. The American Academy of Pediatrics actually gives it the green light as a good nutritional substitute for cow's milk for kids over 1.
So let's go back to that very first question we asked. Soy milk, health hero or hormonal villain? You know, after looking at all the evidence, the science is overwhelmingly clear. For the vast majority of people, soy milk is a health hero. It's a nutrient-dense, science-backed drink with real benefits. The big myths, they just don't hold up. The facts are all here, and now you're equipped to make the best choice for you.